What's going on, guys? Welcome to your January 1st, 2021 stimulus check update. Hopefully you guys had a wonderful New Year's, had a very Merry Christmas, had an incredible holiday. And let's get into 2021. Hopefully this year is better than 2020. Now, for your stimulus update for this morning, there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes that we aren't really seeing, but stimulus is coming. That's the good news. Stimulus is coming and we should see it sometime pretty soon. First off, the PPP funding is still being worked on. So for small businesses that are currently struggling, that need the PPP program to open up, this is coming. We don't have an exact timeline yet, but as I know more, I promise I'll share more. Unemployment benefits are starting to get implemented through the states, and some states are going to be sending out this unemployment benefit, the $300 per week, an additional 11 weeks. These will start to be coming soon. Some states are saying they will start paying out this weekend. That is good. New York is one of those states. The EIDL loan portal is open. I made a video a couple of weeks ago. The video, I'll put it down in the description box below, where I show seniors how to get an extra $1,000. That I'm going to link to down in the description box below. But the $1,000 free money, that grant, that portal, that part or that portion of the EIDL loan portal isn't actually in the system yet. They have not included that yet. So they're still setting it up. As I know more, I promise I'll share more. Most people are saying that this will most likely be another week before this actually gets implemented. So as I know more, I promise I'll come back and share more. We also know that the states are still waiting on the funding for the vaccine distribution. They're waiting on that. Schools are waiting for funding, but it is on the way. That's what we're currently hearing. All this is good news. All this is really good news. But I know what you're here for. You want more information on the larger stimulus checks. Those $2,000 stimulus checks. First, the $600 stimulus checks have already been sent out to millions of people. That is really good. If you haven't received yours, let me know down in the comment section below, what bank you bank through and what state you're from, because those two issues are what we're seeing. Some states are a little bit slower depending on the bank. Chase, Capital One, Ally Bank, and Wells Fargo. Those four are currently the slowest. So just be aware of that. If you bank with one of those banks, that could be one of the reasons why. Well, what about the $2,000 stimulus checks? Where are we with that? Here's what we know. Today, the Senate will reconvene at noon Eastern Time. This will most likely be for another debate, and then Mitch McConnell will most likely try to hold a vote for the NDAA veto override. Now, what we know is Bernie Sanders is most likely going to try to filibuster this vote, which means he's just going to delay it. Now, Mitch McConnell can invoke something called cloture. By doing this, he can hold a vote, and there has to get 60 people to vote on this, but he can hold a vote to skip the debate, go straight to the actual vote itself for the NDAA veto override. So, if this happens, and many people do not expect this to happen simply because Democrats are for a $2,000 stimulus check, and so are multiple Republicans, so they don't think Mitch McConnell could get the votes to end the debate and go straight to an NDAA veto override. So, what we know right now is this is going to be big. What happens today, what happens over this weekend is going to be huge. Yesterday, we heard from Lindsey Graham, Senate Republican Lindsey Graham, who's one of President Trump's closest allies. And he said that he supports the $2,000 stimulus checks. But what he wants to see is he would like to see a standalone bill, standalone vote on $2,000 stimulus checks, standalone vote on the Section 230 repeal, and a standalone vote on putting together a committee to oversee election fraud. So, he wants to see 3 separate votes on 3 separate bills. Now, here's what I anticipate over the next couple of days, or probably the next few days, today, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday as well. President Trump, I expect him to come out and say he still wants $2,000 stimulus checks. This has been very welcoming to the Republican Party that their leader wants a $2,000 stimulus check. And then on top of that, David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler, the two senators running for re-election in Georgia, they too came out and said they want $2,000 stimulus checks. Well, this just reiterates that, okay, it's not just Democrats that want it, Republicans want it as well. And because of this, I think the two candidates in Georgia, the two Republican candidates, are getting somewhat of a boost because of what President Trump has said and by jumping on board, pretty much jumping on that bandwagon. So we'll see. I also expect Mitch McConnell and Democrats will get into some type of negotiation for larger stimulus checks and possibly other legislation. I anticipate that's going to happen over the next few days. Now, just because they enter into some type of negotiation, it just means that they are starting. Not that they're going to come to any type of agreement anytime soon, but I think they're going to get closer. I think they're going to have an idea of what Mitch McConnell really wants. Is he serious about those three provisions? Those three key provisions that President Trump is requesting? Or would he be willing to skip those, do $2,000 stimulus checks, maybe liability protections, but this would be like a backroom deal? Publicly, we didn't hear from Mitch McConnell about this, but we did hear from, I believe it was Dick Durbin, who said, or no, John Cornyn, who said no, that this is not something that they'd want to do between the two of them. Now, a deal most likely won't be reached on the $2,000 stimulus checks before January 5th. I just don't see it happening. I definitely don't see it happening before January 3rd. That's in 2 days. It's not going to happen. But at some point soon after January 5th, I do anticipate we will get a vote on $2,000 stimulus checks. Now, who wins the Georgia Senate runoff on January 5th will determine whose bill sees the floor of the Senate. Will it be Mitch McConnell's bill that provides $2,000 stimulus checks to adults or to adult filers and their spouse, $600 stimulus checks to child dependents and $0 for adult dependents? Or will it be Nancy Pelosi and Democrats' House bill that has $2,000 for everybody? Which one will it be? What I can tell you right now is this weekend is going to be a big weekend. It's going to play a major role in what happens over the next few weeks. We will have campaigning in Georgia from both the Democrats and the Republicans, the Republican senators down in Georgia. We will see Democrats and Republicans fighting for who was at fault for not providing stimulus sooner. Because this is currently the big debate, is why are so many Americans struggling? Why have we been struggling for months? And you come out and say it's going to be bigger, it's going to be better, it's going to be safer. It was going to be retroactive according to Nancy Pelosi, but it wasn't bigger, wasn't better, wasn't safer, and it's not retroactive. Also, we will see on Monday, President Trump and Joe Biden both hold rallies in Georgia. This will be big because the election is on Tuesday. Honestly, what happens over the next 4 days will be the difference between a $2,000 stimulus check or nothing. I wish I could tell you, more. I wish I could give you better information. This is good that we're getting something. We're moving in the right direction, but it's very slow. Remember, this is exactly what happened about 8 months ago. Is the movements, we saw some talks, we were moving in the right direction, but it was extremely slow. We cannot have this time around. So, hopefully we'll get some more news. Hopefully we'll get some updates. Hopefully we'll get some talks about negotiations. That's what we need to look for. So, as you can probably hear, my voice is almost gone. It's almost gone. I didn't have a big party last night, but stayed up late with my kids, stayed up late with my wife, rang in the new year like we always do. It's a little early this morning, but still wanted to give you guys a stimulus update, the first stimulus update for January 1st, 2021. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. If there's new updates, I'll come back on later on today. But I think I'm going to head back home and go back to bed. So consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on. And I'll see you guys on the next one.